Grand Rapids is more than just a great place to buy a home. It's the people and the local businesses that make it special. I'm Christian Hughey, and today I'm sitting down with Pete Lombardo, the owner of Ginos in Eastown. This is one of my favorite pizza places anywhere. My kids love it, my grandparents love it, everybody does. This place is something special. So listen in today, learn a little bit more about Ginos and about Pete, and enjoy. All right, I am sitting here with Pete Lombardo, owner at Gino's Pizza in Eastown. It's a place that I love coming to. My family loves coming to. Been doing it for years. And it's really one of those comfort foods that we have. So I just want to learn a little bit more about Gino's. Here we go. So Gino's is kind of a staple of Grand Rapids, or staple of Eastown, and it's been around for quite a long time. What's the story behind Gino's? When was it established?
It started 1964. Actually, 1962. My dad immigrated from Sicily with his family, and he was young, 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
And at 12 years old, a friend of our family's had a pizza business in Wyoming. My dad worked at that business for 2 years. And by the time he turned 14, learned enough about the business to convince my grandpa into opening a pizza shop.
No way. At
Absolutely.
14?
14 years old. Yes, that is 100% the truth. A lot of pressure on a young man, but my grandpa at the time worked in a factory, and my dad said, "Hey, Pops, I got a great idea. We should open our own business. And I know of a guy that's getting rid of his business because he's getting older and up in age." So on Michigan Street, roughly where the Kentucky Fried Chicken is, my grandpa and my dad started Gino's Pizza, 1964.
Holy cow.
Yeah, a long time ago. And things weren't so great. A lot of pressure back then. The family, worked together in that business. And the first few months, things weren't great. And my grandpa was really upset because he gave up
Sure,
a good job
sure.
to be in his own business.
Yeah.
So my dad, a young boy pretty much, teenage kid, took the pressure of making some menus. Because back in the 60s, pizza was pretty not so common, So he went door to door in the neighborhood on his bicycle. And eventually, after about 6 months, the business started booming.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, booming to the point where they went from struggling and arguing to, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And back then, they didn't have fancy Hobart mixers and slicers. Well, I should say they did, but they were very expensive.
Yeah, sure.
My dad used to make the dough by hand. Boom, boom, boom.
Really?
Oh yeah. It was extremely labor intensive. So they eventually got the business grown enough to where they could buy fancy equipment and things were really rolling. So they bought the building up the hill on Michigan Street,
Okay.
near college, and that things were going great up until like 1970. And then there was family feuds. And my dad was like, you know what? I started this business and the 4 other siblings were all arguing about who was going to help my grandpa Pete and who was going to take over and who was going to do what. So my dad said, you know what? I'll step away. And he came right here into Eastown and purchased the building and started the Gino's Pizza here on Wealthy
way.
Street. Yep.
Wow.
1971. And I grew up, I was the oldest of 5 kids. I grew up working here with my parents, and eventually in my late teens, I had enough of pizza. I didn't want nothing to do with it.
Right.
It was a lot of pressure, a lot of hours here.
Yeah.
And I just said to myself, I got to get away from this business because I had already had 19 years of my life here. So I went out in the real world. I got a job. I was doing the thing as a teenager, late teens, and something just didn't feel right. So eventually I met my wife, and let's just say I grew up.
Yeah.
I said to myself, I have an opportunity here to work for myself. Let's talk to my dad. And I about brought him to tears when I said, hey, Dad, I think I want to run this business. So, yeah, in 1997, my dad took the keys and handed them over to me. And here I am, 30 years almost now. So,
Wow. That's
yeah, a lot of
incredible.
history in this building, and spent a lot of hours with my family. And it's been more of a journey that I didn't expect to ever take. Let's
Yeah,
just put
yeah.
it that way. I put a lot of time in it. I said to myself, it was more about pride. I didn't want to see my mom and dad's business that they had worked so hard to build up and to have running, and to achieve so many good goals, where before, he struggled in his first attempt. And Eastown, when they opened up here, it was instant. They had great business. They had great community support. They had great communication with all their customers. And here I am many years later doing the same thing exactly the way they ran this business. Even the menu, I haven't changed at all. Nothing in this business I have changed. I've left it the same for a reason, because let's admit it, that there's, I don't know, I think 16 or 17 different pizza shops within a half a mile radius.
Yeah, it's just too many.
Each one is different, and that's what makes us special. Is we're not the same old, run of the mill, roll them in and out pizza business. We take our time, we do it right, and all of my customers that I do have and have gained over the years, they're like family. I mean, it's like I told you earlier. Making money is great. That's your main goal, is to achieve that money. But along with that, in a family business, it's more than just making the money.
Oh, yeah.
It's about being prideful. It's about putting out an awesome product and being consistent.
Yeah.
And that says a lot right there. So if there's a high chance if you walk in this building, I'm here.
Yeah.
And if I'm not here, my wife or my son.
Yes.
And that's it. We're just like my parents did it. We run it as a family business, and yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been awesome. And I've gotten, I mean, we eat here quite often, and just being able to walk in the door, and you immediately feel like, you're getting a part of Sicily, you're in here, and the food is it's always consistent. It's always the same.
Yeah.
It's always amazing, and it's like, I'm glad you're not trying to change too much, and a lot of places will come and go, there's, how many, I don't even know how many pizza places in Eastown, 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or something like that.
I think 10 or 11, I think.
Good
Yeah.
Lord, but yeah, it's wild. But this is the one that is like, you've just been doing it the same, and it works, so it's awesome. So your pizzas they're always the same. They always taste great. You're not really changing it up. How do you keep the consistency and the flavor all the same always?
I've had about 40 good solid years of practice, and that is the truth. Yeah, I'm 53 years old. I probably about 12 or 13 years old started really making pizza here in the kitchen with my parents, especially my dad, always looking over my shoulder. Yeah, he was really strict about how to have it prepped. And yeah, I watched very closely, and I learned everything that he did. And you may think it's, it is. Making pizzas, it's easy. But to have the consistency, to know how long to cook the product, to know how much of the product to put on, that's where I struggled, because I would get constantly yelled at for too much of this or not enough of that, or you didn't bring the product out to the edges. And, it just, once I learned it, it was just like a routine for me. Yeah. And, to this day, I could probably, like they say, make a pizza blindfolded. But yeah, it took a lot of years of practice.
Oh, I believe it. And having the consistency of knowing, like, hey, we want Gino's Pizza, we're going to call up and we're going to get the same thing that we always expect. I mean, that's like part of the beauty of it all, is like, yes, I know I'm going to get that same craving, that I'm going to feed that craving that I have,
Yep.
So
As soon as I think about 3 weeks ago, I was in the kitchen. It was a Friday, it was really busy, and I had reached in behind me from the make table to the oven. I remember reaching in with the pizza peel, grabbed a pizza, turned this way, and it flew right off the peel.
Oh no.
I haven't done that in 27 years.
Oh no.
And my wife and my kids were laughing so hard at me.
I bet.
Christian, I was so angry because I hadn't done that in an awful long time. But yeah, I'm human. I
That's
make
so
mistakes. So just to let you know, yes, yeah, I'm not perfect when it comes to making pizzas. I sent that large deluxe flying across the kitchen and made a mistake. Another incident happened, and I've never done this. And this just happened about 2 months ago. My wife says, "Hey, honey, the prep table needs to have some pizza sauce filled." I said, "Okay, no problem." When we make it, it's in 5-gallon buckets.
Sure.
We prep it. Well, this 5-gallon bucket, I picked it up and went to put it in on the prep table to pour it in. I dropped the whole 5-gallon bucket of sauce all over the kitchen.
Oh no.
So you want to talk about getting mad? Yeah, yeah. I make
The ceiling
mistakes.
came out.
Yeah. I make mistakes, but you know what? They're all fixable. I always, clean up my mess.
Yep.
And swallow my pride. You move on to the next one. That's it. That's what my parents instilled in me. Hard work ethic. No matter what happens, you just pick up your mess and start over.
Yep.
You burn a pizza, it happens. You mess up and mix up slips and deliver the pizza to the wrong person, it happens.
Yep.
How you treat that person and how you handle the situation, that's it. You need to be quick and be done with it and put it behind you and move forward.
Yep. That's awesome. Other than pizza, I mean, that is the staple, what you're known for. What else is on the menu?
Okay, so we have pizza, submarine sandwiches, and then a handful of side orders. They're mozzarella sticks, bread sticks, cinnamon sticks, buffalo wings, which are bone-in, and all items are baked right here in-house. So, yep, that about covers it. It's a pretty simple menu.
And
I've wanted to change it over the years, but my dad always told me, he says, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't expand your menu. You're all about freshness. And if you carry 50 items and you only sell 20 of them, he goes, all those other items are sitting and you don't want to serve that sort of product to customers.
Nope.
And I was so happy because, there were a few times when I wanted to change the menu and expand it, because I've had people ask for salads. I've had people ask for more of vegan items. And as much as I want to go that route and do that, it makes sense just to keep the menu simple.
Yes, 100%. So you had mentioned that you had been, you kind of gotten the keys in 97.
Yes.
But you were working in the restaurant? I know you said you took a little time off, but when you were younger, you kind of came up doing different things?
Oh, yeah. Between the ages of 18 to 21, I kind of stepped away from the pizza parlor. And it was a good thing. My mom even said, she goes, this is a great thing for you because you get to go out in the real world and earn a paycheck from someone else and understand that my mom and dad weren't really so hard on me. They were just trying to run the business the way it's supposed to be run. I always thought, if I'm 5 minutes late, who cares, right? Well, no, that's a big part of this business, is to be on time. So I have maintained that strong work ethic from day one, just because it was very important for my parents to be punctual. You always show up on time. You don't leave early. You always, do what you can to make that customer return and give your business or give you more business again. It's just, how do I say? It's very easy to make mistakes in this business. If we're all human, we make mistakes. I might burn a pizza or something will happen. I'm always here to make it right.
Yep.
That's it. I do my very best to be very appreciative and thankful for the opportunity to have this type of business, because not everybody gets a chance to have their parents say, okay, here's the keys. We've done 29 years. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
Well, that's been, like I said, it's been an honor.
Yeah.
It's been truly, a lot of work, a lot of tears, a lot of late nights, and having all kinds of challenges, whether it's equipment failures or last minute orders from hospitals, or big orders where people call you last second and say, "Hey, we need 50 pizzas." Well, wow, I've had that happen quite a few times over the years where, some other businesses locally couldn't do it because they were understaffed or whatnot. And all of a sudden you get that challenge and, hey, you step up to the plate and you do it.
Yeah.
That's part of the business. And yeah, COVID was another big challenge in my business too, because I think we were the only shop open at the time, especially after like 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. And we were overwhelmed, but it was a great feeling because I knew I was rolling the dough. I was, making new customers, and time was flying, and we did our very best, and we succeeded. We did very good throughout COVID, just because we knew what it took to serve the community.
Mm-hmm.
And they needed it. They couldn't just stop eating.
Yeah, that was
so
the pizza. The pizza was a big deal for COVID.
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
for a lot of families, because let's face it, at least for the first few weeks of the hectic stuff that was going on with COVID, and people were kind of like, I would say, confused as to what are we going to do. This is ridiculous. We're actually facing these challenges at this time during the 2020s. What's going on here?
Right.
So,
So this, like you said, this is a family business passed down, and right now you're working as a family into it. I mean, is that what you're hoping for the foreseeable future? Do you have any perspective on what that could entail? Any interest?
Well, just like myself, I didn't want anything to do with this place.
Yeah.
And then one day, something snapped, and I said, you know what? I can be self-employed. Yes, the hours aren't the easiest, but nothing in life is easy.
True.
Having a family, that's a challenge in itself, and very well.
Oh, yeah.
That you have to change your path, and you do it together as a family, and you just say to yourself, hopefully, with this business, yeah, that'd be great. One of my sons or even my daughter, if they choose to say, hey, we'd love to run the business, we could sit down and talk, because it's at that point in my life where, I'm ready now to step away. I'm a little young yet.
Yeah.
But, we'll see.
Some point.
At some point, could very well happen. And I would love that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
To continue on the business. It's here and it's running, and it's great. Everything's perfect at this point for me. And I'm sure, just like my dad, he was ready to step away. And he was actually pretty young. He was 48 years old.
Okay.
Yep. But he was very good with his money and his investments, and he did very well. And that's where, I follow his steps as his oldest son. Even my younger brothers, they have Ginos Pizza also. One's on the west side of Michigan, and one is on Saranac on the east.
Okay. Explain, are they all intertwined? How do they work?
No, each shop, we are independently owned. So I'm Pete Lombardo.
Yep.
And then my brothers are Gino Jr. and Vito.
Okay.
Both my brothers own their Gino's Pizza shops independently, but they're run exactly the same.
That's so cool.
So, as my parents helped my brothers along to achieve their goal to own their own businesses, they had a stipulation where, hey, we really want you guys to keep things the same. That way, how to keep the menu and keep the product consistent. And that's how we were raised in this business, to run it and have consistency on the product. So it's amazing, because they have the exact same ovens, they have the exact same suppliers, they have the exact same recipes and pricing. And we get together, if there's any changes that we want to make as far as pricing or whatnot, we always talk about it ahead of time. I am really close with my brothers. So
that's so cool. Having that ability to just keep it so consistent, and you guys just maintaining the values that your family had, is really cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's been Like I said, it's been a great journey so far.
So if somebody wants to order takeout or delivery, is it best to call? Is there a website? Like, what's the easiest way to make it happen?
It's pretty simple. For delivery, call, of course. We don't have any kind of online ordering. We are old fashioned.
Good.
Call, ask for me if you want special treatment, but most of the time I'm busy on the weekends rolling away. And my wife's here with me working, and she's wonderful. It's been a blessing to have the support from my wife.
It is great seeing her when I come in, seeing you guys both working back there together. I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah, she's my angel, because there's a lot that, just like my parents, we support each other through this, and it's been, really good. She caught on real quick. Not being in this business when we first got married, she learned real fast how to help out and get this get the ball rolling, as they say.
That's very cool.
But order over the phone, or walk in and step right up to the counter, and we'll treat you like the old days, face to face, and get to watch your food being made. It's just it's exactly the way it was before. We're not going to change it.
That's awesome.
Simple.
Good. Keep it that way. All right. One personal question. What do you like to do when you're not in the parlor?
Anything outdoors, because I spent enough hours indoors.
Yeah.
So I love hunting, fishing, any kind of on the water activities. I love taking hikes. I love traveling, especially my wife and kids. I love getting together as family. That pretty much covers it right there.
Taking advantage of the pure Michigan that we have, which is awesome.
It was beautiful. A little cold today.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
For sure. All right, one last question for you. You have 10 seconds to answer this. If you are downtown Grand Rapids, where are you going to eat?
Downtown Grand Rapids. You got me. I am lost. I can't answer that one because I don't spend a whole lot of time downtown.
Don't go down there?
No, I live south of Grand Rapids, Caledonia, so I never travel towards the west.
So what food would you eat out of here? If you're what's the best place that you would go to, or your favorite spot?
What are some of my favorite spots?
Yeah, just one. Just one.
There's a steakhouse on 28th Street. I can't remember the name of it. My wife loves the place. Oh, gosh.
She loves it, but do you love it?
Yes, it's actually pretty good. It's a winery, Cooper's Hawk.
Oh, yeah. Cooper's Hawk. That place is really nice.
Yeah, I like Cooper's Hawk. That's a nice place. They got a little pricey, but you get what you pay for.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've always had a good experience there.
Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
So.
All right. As you can tell, the tradition here and the family ties run deep. There are hundreds of pizza places all over the place, but Gino's stands out right at the top for me. Go check it out as soon as you can. You will not be disappointed.